we have Dr. Babafemi Babatokpe. Dr. Babafemi Babatokpe is a theater and media arts scholar and practitioner. He teaches theater and media arts at the Department of Theater Arts and Music, Lagos State University, Ojo, Lagos, Nigeria. Lasuniel, and he has produced, directed, and acted in many stage and screen plays. He has published both locally and internationally and attended many local and international conferences. He has served the Lagos University, Ojo, in many administrative capacities. Lasu Lansoye. He has been privileged to win travel and conference attendance grants. He is the CEO of Artful Art Productions, a multimedia entertainment and consultancy firm based in Lagos. He's a unionist and human activist. He's a fellow of British Arts Council, Nigeria. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, ẹ̀yin wa lọ́kùnrin lóbìnrin ọmọdé àti àgbà ibikíbi tí ẹ bá wà, ẹ jọ̀ọ́ ẹ bá mi gbé ohùn sókè, ẹ palantia, ẹ bá mi gbé bàbá wa, èèyàn wa, ẹ̀gbọ́n wa, àbúrò wa, dádì wa, ọ̀jọ̀gbọ́n wa, Dr. Babafemi Babatokpe lórí ètò yìí. Baba Agba, you're welcome, Prof.
Thank you very much.
My doc, you see, you've gone through primary school, secondary school, HSC, and then Bachelor of Arts, and then Master of Arts, and then PhD. Hey, Dr. Babafemi Babatokpe, when I was driving to the studio this morning, just to share this experience with you.
Okay.
When I was driving to the studio this morning, I was having a conversation. I think this radio program was on, I think it was one of those radios. I was just generally going through all kinds of radio stations, wanting to tune to Yes FM. And suddenly this presenter mentioned something, and they were singing, Batamia du koka. Batamia do koka to baka we me Batamia do ko and the same time to baka we re batare awo shere nile baba mi Dr. Babafemi Baba, with this kind of song, what he says to us is that you need education. That's but one has observed that this present generation of youths will tell you who education help, who book help. Doctor, but is it true that in this time, in this era, age and time, is it possible that when you have people doing zazu, when you are doing, all of these people are making a lot of money. Now. I want to copy sí bàtà wọ́n sọ pé who education help baba doc ẹ bá wa dá sọ̀rọ̀ bí gbogbo degree tẹ gbà ẹ jọ kí ni difference inú degree àti àwọn ọmọ tẹ pé zazu ló ń ṣe ń gbòòrò wọ́n dẹ̀ ń pawó wọlé ẹ jọ ẹ bá yan nànú ẹ̀.
ẹ ṣé to start with, we need to understand that there are two sides to every coin. And so it is with also white saying or this thing about batare dunwere otunshere atukokoko is metaphoric. It's not about the color of your shoe or the sound of your shoe. When it says batamia dun kokoko, it means you will walk tall, your shoulders will be high, you will be your horizon will be broad, you'll be able, your right from left, you'll be able to walk tall into society. And money cannot always achieve that. When you are not educated, you are ignorant. You can have all the money in the world, but mark you won't go far. So it is true that people are making lots of money by not even being in school. Most people just wake up one day, they put one show, one music on, and then they are good to go. But
they will blow.
But it's not about blowing. It's about being able to be useful not only to yourself, to your environment, and impact life.
And to sustain that type
when
of...
you think about the money some people have made, ask about how much impartation they're having on life, apart from being able to spray the money and go, do some sort of meaningless, permit me to say, things, So I believe so much that education is not a scam, as it is being said right
That's
now.
what they say.
Those who say it is a scam, they have very limited perspective about the concept of education. They think it's just a meal ticket. No. What about where you can afford to travel, you can afford to do almost anything that money can do, but you are intellectually porous, you're empty upstairs. So the concept of Bataria Dunkoko simply means that you will be able to beat your chest in the clique of people and say, I know my right from my left. But if you are rich and you are dull upstairs, you won't be able to do that. So that's the way I want to look at it. It's not about money. It's about having ideas. It's about being able to say, here is where I stand, on issues.
Thank you, Dr. Babafemi Babatokwe. Okay, well, torí a máa ń sọ lórí ètò yìí, a fẹ́ ṣe tó pé àwọn ní Gẹ̀ẹ́sì, àwọn olóyìnbó, àwọn professor.
Ìkànnì máa gbọ́. Nǹkan tí mò ń sọ ni wípé tí a bá sọ wípé bàtà rẹ̀ á dún kókó kà àbí àwọ̀ṣe rẹ̀ nílẹ̀, kò mean wípé kọ́lọ̀ bàtà rẹ̀ ni o, kò mean pé bó ṣe ń sound, ó mean wípé tó o bá kàwé rẹ̀ ọpọlọ ẹ̀ á pé wàá lè bá wọn ènìyàn péjọpọ̀ láwùjọ. For instance, you will get lost èyàn á sọnù nílùú òyìnbó tí o bá mọ̀wé. You will need to still go and pay ẹni tó mọ̀wé. Now you are brought ẹ̀dínmọ́wé yín wá sí London, for instance, ẹ wá dé under this tube and then it says ọ̀nà yín lọ síbí báyìí, ọ̀nà yín lọ síbí báyìí, even some sign languages, and you be wondering, hello, how do I do? Àìkàwé nìyẹn. So a tún sanwó travel guide tó kàwé ní tiẹ̀. So in other words, pé èèyàn kàwé, ọ̀tọ̀ lówó, ọ̀tọ̀ níwé.
Ọ̀tọ̀ tún ní yó.
Yes, ọ̀tọ̀ tún níyì. So ìwé ṣe pàtàkì gan-an. Tó o bá ti kàwé, wàá dá ẹ̀tọ́ ẹ̀ mọ̀. Tó o bá ti kàwé, wàá lè fọwọ́ sọ̀yà láwùjọ àwọn èèyàn pé òkè báyìí ni mo ṣe tó. So kò sọ pé tá a lè dá sí.
Kò sí tó mímí kan ní mi ẹ̀.
Èèyàn gbọ́dọ̀ kàwé ẹ̀, ó ṣe pàtàkì.
Ẹ ṣé Dr. Babafemi Babatokwe. Theatre, music, media, mo dẹ̀ mọ̀ múnú tá ẹ kọ síbí ẹ máa ń direct eré orí ìtàgé àti ti orí tẹlifíṣàn àti fíìmù. Èwo la lè sọ pé ẹ tẹ̀sán mọ́ ẹ dẹ́yìn mọ́ tó jẹ́ pé yes tó bá jí kíá ẹ ti bọ́ síta ẹ ti sọ pé yes. Eré àmì lélẹ̀ ewo lè rí àyín.
Ẹ ṣe olóòtú gẹ́gẹ́ bí ẹ̀kọ́ tá a kọ́ nílé ìwé o, gbogbo ọ̀nà tí theatre and media practice tó jásí náà ni a lè gbìyànjú, ṣùgbọ́n ní gbòógì mò ń ṣe atọ́kùn eré orí ìtàgé àbí ti fídíò or rédíò.
Ìyẹn dá director lẹ́nu sọ yẹn.
Bẹ́ẹ̀ ni tẹ́ ẹ bá jí mi lójú oorun mi ò tiẹ̀ ní láti wòwéwò, Olúwa fún mi ṣe. Olúwa máa ń fún mi ṣe. I direct to the best and within the best practice globally by the special grace of God.
Ẹ ṣe nǹkan kan tí ó tiẹ̀ tó wá sáré sọ sí mi lọ́kàn à ń sọ̀rọ̀ ń pa bí àwọn èèyàn ṣe ń wọlé sí ilé ìwé ẹ̀kọ́ gíga pàápàá jùlọ. In those days, Dr. Babafemi Babatokwe, you see, in those days when admission procedure into university was so organized, ní ìgbà yẹn ni mo ń sọ yìí o, it was so organized that if you failed your school SAT or GCE or even JAMB, it was nothing shameful to retake your papers, and there were media centers for you to go and re-register and correct your deficiency.
Exactly.
But nowadays people are ashamed to retake. They rather engage mercenaries to sit for them, and even their parents encourage this sort of thing. Ṣé bẹ́yìn agbẹ́yàn kan wá lórí ètò ọ̀rẹ́ wa tó mọ ọ̀jọ̀gbọ́n àwọn tó bá Professor Soyinka Dr. Atunde Awosanmi mo ní Dr. Awosanmi o ǹjẹ́ ó ní àwọn ṣe jambu àwọn gan jambu irú Awosanmi.
ẹ̀mẹ́ta lèmi náà ṣe jambu.
lóòótọ́ ojú òde tí láti tún lọ ṣe àwọn ọmọdé ìsìn ojú máa ń tì wọ́n máa pé káwọn kan wá lọ bá wọn ṣe ni o kí lè rí sọ sí yẹn.
o sad it's a sad development. àwa òbí àsìkò yìí gan àrùn tíbi tá ti ń bọ̀ a kàn fẹ́ kó simple fáwọn ọmọ wa ni láti rí pé láti lé gan láti bàtà wọn ọlọ́run dájú láti bàtà wọn ọmọ yẹn jẹ́ àjẹ́ kan ní dignity in labour fún wọn ní self esteem. Now ó yẹ kí èèyàn mọ̀ wípé tó bá ní ìjákulẹ̀ lẹ́ẹ̀kan kì í ṣe pé ayé ẹ̀ ti parẹ́ kì í ṣe ìparí ayé. The downfall of a man is not the end of his life. ó yẹ kó túnra mú ni. èèyàn lè sọ pé torí pé òun ní accident lẹ́ẹ̀kan pé òun ní go wọ mọ́tò mọ́ náà but unfortunately lóde òní àwọn òbí fúnra wọn nígbà tó máa wọn bá ń ṣe exam tó bá ń ṣe lesson nílé wọn á ràn lọ́wọ́ torí pé wọ́n fẹ́ kó gba mark. ọmọ tí ẹ jẹ́ kó go through the process of learning the rudiment tó jẹ́ kí wọ́n fún ẹ ló ràn lọ́wọ́ nígbà tó ń ṣe lesson kò sí bó ṣe máa lè fakọyọ nínú exam ní school. torí pé ẹ̀yin tẹ̀ẹ̀dẹ̀ jẹ́ òbí ẹ fẹ́ kó sọ pé ọmọ lágbájá ó ti wọlé o ọmọ tèmi ò wọlé o. àwọn ọmọ yìí tó kú lọ ń ṣe machinery sí wọn ò lówó tó fẹ́ fi ṣe fúnra wọn àwa òbí là ń encourage wọn and it's so unfortunate. it is very very sad.
ẹ má ní mo dọ́rọ̀ mọ́ ilé nu àwọn òbí wọn pé ìlú ìgan òye àwọn ọmọ òjàre àwọn ọmọ tí àwọn ò bá ràn wọ́n lọ́wọ́ láti pé kán débi tí wọ́n fẹ́ dé ìjọba gan kọ́ bí ara sí ọ̀rọ̀ wọn àwọn máa wo nígbà tí ẹ̀yin Dr. Babafemi baba Tọ́pẹ́ ìlú ó bàálà ilé sọ gbogbo mo sọ ètò wà lóríṣiríṣi àbọ̀tà àwọn òbí wa wọ́n pé tí o bá ran ọmọ ẹ lọ́wọ́ ìjọba gan ò ṣetán láti ràn ẹ lọ́wọ́ ẹ jẹ́ kí n ran ọmọ mi lọ́wọ́ kó yà tètè dé ibi gíga tí a fẹ́ kó lọ kó ra admission kó gbọ́ union laga bí.
láti sọ náà nìyẹn concept ríran lọ́wọ́ yàtọ̀ síra wọn. a kàn ń sọ pé gbà tiwa yẹn ni gbà tiwa gan náà yìí sì. tẹ́ ẹ bá dénú library ẹ lè rí information. a tún máa mú ìwé báyìí a lọ mú kó lórí shelf a lọ hide kábà lè rí ní
ìjọ mi bẹ́ẹ̀ ni.
but right now gbogbo nǹkan táwọn wá káàkiri nínú library all over the place yẹn just press it on your phone.
ó ti wá
so they are luckier than we were this generation but unfortunately àwọn òbí ó yẹ kán ran ọmọ lọ́wọ́ láti mú ọmọ ọ̀nà to fend for themselves. Bros, if you are hungry and you come to me and I give you food, I've not helped you. If I'm not there, you will starve to death. But if you come to me complain of hunger, mo wá mú yín lọ sí ọjà, mo ra fishing rod àti fishing net, mo wá mú yín lọ sí ẹ̀bá odò, mo kọ́ yín bó ṣe ń pẹja, tí mi ò bá tiẹ̀ sí ń bẹ̀ mọ́, ẹ lè máa fẹ́ fúnra yín bó ṣe yẹ kí àwọn òbí ràn yín lọ́wọ́ nìyẹn. So you can see the difference now. Ebi ń pa yín mo fún yín lóúnjẹ ready made food àti pé mo mú yín lọ sóko mo lọ kọ́ yín láti make oúnjẹ fúnra yín èwo ni ìrànlọ́wọ́.
èyí tí ẹ fi kọ́ ọ bá ṣe ń pẹja ẹni.
So let us talk to us our parents. When you buy phone for your children, ensure that they make appropriate use of it.
Doc èmi mo gbádùn tẹ́ sọ pé kí a sọ fún àwọn òbí wa pé ká tọ́ àwọn ọmọ wa sọ́nà kí wọ́n lè ṣe àṣeyọrí lọ́nà tí wọ́n dẹ́gbẹ́ kò ní sí pé à ń
alọ́nra question ni
àmọ́ ìjọba èmi fẹ́ ká tún bá ìjọba wí náà tẹ́ pé tí ó bá dókè ó dá àwọn tí ó jẹ́ olùdarí ìlú àwọn òṣèlú wa ọ̀pọ̀lọpọ̀ wọn náà ni wọ́n ṣe awúrú máa jẹ gangan tí wọ́n fi dókè lọ́n pé táwọn ọmọ wọ̀nyí bá tẹ̀ ń rí i pé eléyìí kọmíṣánná eléyìí gbẹ̀gìn kò tiẹ̀ níwèé tó pé wọ́n ti wọ́n ti fi sípò tí ò yẹ kó wà gbogbo ohun táwọn ọmọ wọ̀nyí ń rí náà ni wọ́n fi ń ṣe ẹ wo.
kò wá lọ́jọ́ ọ̀la I agree with you 100% wípé tí òkè bá rotten kò sí ìsàlẹ̀ olórí nǹkan kan ṣe but ṣebí àti rí èèyàn kan ní country yìí ó di number 3 person in Nigeria ìgbà tó ń realize pé ó ní Toronto ó crash àgbọ̀rọ̀ ẹ̀ mọ́dọ̀là now ó di kọ́kọ́ sa eré ìje yẹn ó di débẹ̀ wáì unfortunately ìgbà tí ò ní rudiment yẹn ó fail so èmi bá sọ wípé ká máa ti ìjọba lẹ́yìn èmi àtẹ̀yìn náà dẹ̀ ní ìjọba o.
àwa ni.
Okay, tí àwọn kan bá 2023 will soon come, ẹ jẹ́ ká dìbò fún àwọn good people tá a mọ̀ wípé ó lè lead wa right, not just àwọn tó yẹ pé jẹgúdú jẹra wọn kàn tó wá fún wa ní bag right a tún fi ọdún mẹ́rin wa ṣe wá fi ta kite. So lọ́rọ̀ kan ṣá ilé la ti ń kẹ̀ṣọ́ ròde. That is the point I'm trying to make.
ẹ ṣe torí àsìkò wa n tí mo fẹ́ bí ó pọ̀ ẹ ká máa mú pépèpé. Dr. Babafemi Obatope, let's talk about your days as an undergraduate in the University of Ife.
Okay.
Now, do you think that the kind of training that you received in Ife, either as an acting or directing student or even as a media student, that media, I emphasize that because I'm coming to that. Either as an acting, directing student, or even media, this kind of training, do you think it's still relevant in this age and time, compared to what is practiced in the industry, Nollywood industry specifically? Yeah, training.
Aṣọ ìgbàlà ń dá fúngbà. Our teachers taught us within the context of what was
relevant at that period.
Àsìkò ti change. Teacher tí ò bá step up game tiẹ̀ náà o gan have fall short of expectation. So for instance, pàtàkì wà ní school kò sí phone, kò sí computer, mo ti jáde university ká tó máa lo email. So right now tó jẹ́ pé a lè ṣe virtual classes táwa ò gbọ́n pa ẹ̀rí kí n máa sọ pé note mi nìkan náà mo fẹ́ máa dì mú. And some of these notes, but at our university, there were just 14 of us in the university. Today, I teach 500 students. So the one-on-one thing that our lecturers had with us could possible more. So we have to devise other means of tackling the situation that we find ourselves. So in other words, the teaching methodology, not the material, the teaching methodology, OTW, moribund. Right now, we need to think about something else that will be fitting and suitable to the present situation. Otherwise, we won't go far.
And that's what you do. That has to be relevant.
That's what I do.
Fantastic. When we were in the university, we went through, different levels of, orientation and our lecturers taught us so many courses, acting, play directing, media studies and all of that. But then theater management, they taught us. But would you say that they taught us the, art or the business of theater in a way that will be relevant to how we can, utilize that training outside? I hope you understand what I'm trying to say.
Perfect.
Fine.
Well,
yeah,
they did for the period under review. About the business of the theater. Okay. At that time, after all, Olarotimi of blessed memory taught us. At that time, Otini Oriolokun.
Yeah.
So, but Nisi, there is a need to review the curriculum for theater management, and it has been done. Okay. So now we are having the business of the theater. And even in my own department, we invite people from management sciences to come and teach, and we encourage our students to go out there and learn business management. Yeah. But first and foremost, it is important that the product you are managing is top notch. So just to be brief, the business management we were taught then was okay for that period.
Yeah.
But there's a need now to review it and make it relevant to the period we live in now.
Eshe, Tebasha Kesi, the artists that are practicing nowadays, either as actor or directors or producers, if you call them for a job, they refer you to their managers. I know Ogunde, Oyadejobi, Droladipo, Oyadejobi. At a point, Baba Wande was managing Oyadejobi Theatre.
Right.
They also had managers. But these managers that you have nowadays, compared to the orientation, the attitude they are attitude to work is such that you won't even have access to the artists. The manager will be the one who will take decisions, who will speak on behalf of the artists. No matter how close you are to the artists, the managers will be the one to discuss the business so that they shield, they guide this artist so much that they give that celebrity status, to the artist, as opposed to what used to obtain. I mean, Ogunde will meet you, you interact with you, Ladipo will come at me, gbogbo wọn bá wa ṣeré bíi pé kíní, kò sí àárín pé artist manager lélẹ̀, a máa rí wọn lọ́fẹ̀ẹ́ lófò, kò dàbí tìsín bàbá, kí ló ṣẹlẹ̀?
Bẹ́ẹ̀ni, ó dáa torí pé gbogbo yẹn náà ló fẹ́ make owó, ó lè ṣe pàtàkì. Àwọn ọ̀rẹ́ ń gbà mí dẹ̀rẹ̀, wọ́n take àwọn actors for granted. Wọ́n á bá mi ṣe ní ọ̀rẹ́jọ̀rẹ́, and then actor ní pension. Particularly tó a ti jẹ́ pé iṣẹ́ tó ń ṣe jẹun nìyẹn, if a professional and I has nothing else doing, ó gbọ́dọ̀ ti guarantee future right now, and the only way to guarantee it is for people to realize that business is business. Tí a bá jẹ́ ọ̀rẹ́ tá a fẹ́ ṣeré lábẹ́ igi later in the evening, no problem, but tá a fẹ́ discuss business, we need to enter into business agreement properly, and that's why it is necessary to bring in management, managers and all of that. Yeah. So I'm fully in support, and that's what that's how it happens everywhere in the world. That you need to manage, an artist, your craft, an artist, a professional, so that he will not be shortchanged in negotiating his honorarium. So it's perfectly in order.
Fantastic. Well, have you obtained your PhD before you started teaching in LASU?
No. I told you I went back to school for PhD after 28 years of graduating from IFE. Okay. So I just finished my PhD not too long ago. I finished in 2016 actually. Okay.
Not too long ago again. 2016 long. But as a director,
right,
you want to share with a listening audience and those who are watching us the plays that you have directed, stage, TV, film and stuff, quickly so we can.
Abani kari Olúwa, ilé aṣú, ilé amọ̀.
Baba Miliki, ilé aṣú, ilé amọ̀.
Let's not go there.
Okay.
Ó pọ̀. Ṣùgbọ́n the last one tí mo ṣe ń sìn ni convocation play. Convocation play.
Convocation.
I went, so to say, adapted Trebison's Morontodun and put it up for 25th LASU convocation, and it was awesome, fantastic.
Yeah.
I mean, given the feedback that we got from. Now I've been directing the convocation plays too at LASU. I did while I was teaching at Academic of Education as an undergraduate. I did. So now I've done a couple of skits. I acted in them, directed them, and some full-length films too. So quite a number of them actually.
What is the difference between those kind of honorary PhDs and your own academic PhD? What actually is it? Because we need to educate ourselves out there now. What is the difference? Is there any difference? Because when you have been to some occasions of doctor, and people flaunt it, particularly the honorary PhD, holders. I'm doctor, and there's so much, effort to, to sort of make so much noise about it. So what's the difference between your kind of PhD and the honorary PhD?
Well, my kind of PhD is the one that I did after conducting a research and producing a dissertation.
Okay.
And that is the academic PhD. It is the benchmark for teaching in the university. But the university, in its wisdom, management in their wisdom, also recognize people who have excelled in their various vocations. And for instance, without your own academic PhD, you are entitled to several PhDs by virtue of what you have done.
Yeah, okay.
I recall that you are one of the pioneer guys in stand-up comedy in Nigeria, solo performances.
Thank you.
My brother, you deserve a PhD, honorary PhD in that regard, but it is not academic. You can't use that as a basis for coming to teach in the university. You can't use that as a basis for wanting to be promoted to professor.
But Doc, people, okay, Chief Ebenezer Obey, Fabi,
Yeah.
has an honorary PhD. Sonny Ade has an honorary PhD.
Right.
The late Inde Barrister had an honorary PhD.
Right.
And they invite them to come and teach. For instance, Ebenezer Obey has been invited to come and teach in...
Not on the basis of the honorary PhD. They're as art fellows.
Oh, really?
As art fellows, yes. You don't have to have a PhD, honorary PhD to come and teach. If you are good at what you do, maybe you are a guitarist or you are a lead vocalist, and the people know that you are good. Even I don't want to mention names.
Yeah.
People who dropped out from from universities,
Yeah.
who are good in what they do,
Yeah.
they can be invited to take master classes.
Yeah.
I do not mean a master's degree classes.
Yeah.
That is classes of
Areas of expertise.
So that is what they come to do. It's not because of the honorary. It's just for honor. The PhD thing that give them is just honorary, and there's nothing big to. There's nothing to it other than being honorary.
You know, when we invited, who was it? One of our guests on this show, and we're talking about the wealth of knowledge of people like Ajobi. In fact, I attended a conference, something to do with poetry, traditional poetry and the relevance of poetry in indigenous culture and all of that.
Okay.
And the emphasis was on poetry, and we talked about Oriki, and I looked at the body of works, that someone like Ajobi had done, and Ajobi, like I told you, has very rich knowledge of panegyric and all of that, traditional, poetry, and I was saying to one professor who came from US to attend that conference, it was to honor the late musicologist, Professor Akinyuba. Okay. And I said, when you say professor, and all of that, Ajobi, look at his works, body of them, compared to what we have come here to discuss, very scanty knowledge and contributions to knowledge. But Ajobi's works relevant to society, and that's the thing. You understand? That's the point I'm trying to make. But if we go back to this idea of giving PhD to people in academia,
or deserving people in the community.
Deserving people in the community. And now I'm saying that, you see, became a hot argument, heated argument.
Because you don't give it to people in the academia, they earn it.
They earn
work
it,
for it. But you dash people in the community to honor them.
But you see, Dr. Babafemi, you see, when you say you don't give, you give even to the people in academia too, because they earn it. The people who are not in academia but are professionals, experts who have done great works, produced, who impact the society. They are also honored and giving based on their,
contribution to society.
Their contribution to. Hello, someone is calling. Good afternoon. Hello. Okay, here to ja. Dr. Ofem Baba Tokwe. This is a very important argument. Even if we don't exhaust this today, we can take it some other time because of the fact that it is coming from the intellectual knowledge, either as academia or as professional experts on the field. You have to be stimulated, guided by your intellect to produce that thing. The only difference is that people, make references to methodology when you are research.
The one in the academia is research based.
Okay.
So that's just the difference, really. So if you are in the community, and you want an academic PhD,
okay,
so play the game according to the rule you'll be given. Why not go back to school, do your JAM, do your post degree, do your MA, blah blah blah, and then you are good to go.
Good afternoon, Uncle TG.
Good afternoon. Time, Papa. All right.
Amid Ombu is my name, sir.
Amid, let's go, Papa.
Yeah, coming to what Doctor said about honorary PhD, we heard a lot of stories that people can buy it. I want to know from Doctor whether it's possible for a wealthy person to buy honorary PhD. We heard a lot of stories, even people that are not worth of giving it to. They really honor them with honorary from university. Is it possible? Is it true or not? And also, what's the difference between poetry and spoken word?
Okay, Papa, let's
Well,
go.
I'm not sure if you have all the time to attend to those two questions, but it is possible people buy, and unfortunately, that is the corruption in academic in the average hours. But people are not supposed to buy. It's supposed to be given to people that they recognize for their impact in society.
So they should
But
merit it.
they should merit, but a lot of things happen. People do all kind of things, so it's unfortunate. Maybe some other time I will elaborate on the difference between poetry and spoken word.
Thank you, my brother, for calling. Because of time, let me acknowledge those who have contributed to this program.